What's happening, YouTube? Back in the day gamer here. Thanks for tuning into my channel, and today I wanted to share a very interesting fact that I just discovered. Apparently, 5 of my favorite, 5 of what I consider to be among the best games on the system, or at the very least, 5 awesome Nintendo Entertainment System games are under $20 a piece. That's right. At this day and age, you're hard-pressed to find a game that only costs $20. And these 5 fantastic games are all under 20 bucks. Let me show you. So in my last video, I showcased my top 10 most expensive Nintendo Entertainment System games. And when doing research for that, I was on pricecharting.com. And I just was checking prices out. And I went $20 down. And I couldn't believe what I saw. As I said, 5 of my favorite, 5 of what I consider among the best, 5 awesome NES games are all under 20 bucks. So let's jump right into it. The first game on the list, the one closest to $20, because it went 20 and scrolled down, is a groundbreaking, genre-defining title. Started a massive series with a huge following. Final Fantasy, the original. Being an RPG guy, this game was always one of my favorite titles on the system. I can't recall if this or Dragon Warrior was the first RPG I'd ever played. If it wasn't one, it was the other. Either way, they're both great. This one is on the list today. I mean, you're all aware of Final Fantasy. If you're not, in fact, old like me, you're watching this, so you obviously care somewhat about video games. You've heard of one Final Fantasy game in the series, whether it be 1, 3, 8, 12, whatever. You are aware of Final Fantasy. I myself have only played 1 and 2, and some ones on the Game Boy, but I hear nothing but good things about the other games in the series. Being old and crotchety, I really only play the old stuff, so that's why 1 and 2 are the only ones I've got to. And this was the first game I saw on price charting that blew my mind on pricing. At this time, I guess Nintendo prices must be coming down, because this was never a super expensive title, but I know it used to be more than $20. The second game on the list was the biggest surprise to me, because this game it's fantastic. All these games are fantastic, but I still have the original sticker from when I purchased mine on May 11th, 2016, and I paid what I thought was a deal then, $19.99. Currently it's at $19.06. This game, Super C, right? This game is awesome. While the original Contra will always be my favorite, Super C, I can admit, is what I believe to be the better game. It's super fun. It's very similar to the first game. I think they made some small improvements. It just plays smoother, and when you got spread and super spread, you're just laying waste to everything on the screen, and that is a ton of fun. Obviously, I don't need to tell you anything about the Contra series. It spanned over many systems, and almost all the games are renowned to be fantastic. We're not going to touch into any of the others, even though I said the first one will always be my favorite. Yes, the second one is the superior title. It being such a fun game to play and one that everyone likes, it's just mind-blowing to me that it's under $20. As I said, 8 years ago, I paid $20 for it, and I thought it was a steal then, so it's coming down in price. That's good news for people who like Nintendo, especially for people like me with a big wall of games that you never intend on selling, so the price doesn't make any difference. Third game, this is going to be the least popular game in the list, but it's a fun one. It's really strange and quirky. Controls great, a lot of fun, probably the least heard of on the list, like I said, but it's definitely still an awesome game, Monster Party. This isn't exactly a hidden gem, but it's probably a game some of you haven't played. It wasn't one everyone had back in the day. I do remember playing it, many years ago and always liking it, but a lot of people, like I said, didn't have it, not the ones that I hung out with at least. So not until my later years did I really grow to appreciate this game even more, because the more you play it, the more you like it, because it just gets stranger and stranger. It has wild enemies, crazy boss battles. The boards themselves are super wacky. The story, everything about this game is pretty out there. And for me, it's not just the nostalgia talking. It's just a good game. It controls well. It's fun to play. The graphics are great. It also has some of my favorite cover art in the entire library. Check that out right there. Monster Party. Oh, and on the back of it is a sticker that says $1.49. I don't think I paid $1.49 for it, but that's quite a deal. That was in the time 20 years ago when Nintendo games were super cheap. And I would just go to the used record store and buy them off the shelf. I don't ever remember getting one for $1.49. I know I paid $1.99 for a lot of them, but it's good to see that game. That one's only $18, by the way. It's coming in at like 18 something, but under $20. So another banger on the list. So we got 2 left. This game, also one of my favorites. It's renowned for being NES tough, and that is definitely a fact. Ghosts and Goblins. I talk about this game all the time. I'm sure you're all well aware of it. Also, Ghosts and Goblins is just a banger. It was one of the games when the system came out that I wanted so bad, and it took me a long time to get, but man, I wanted Ghosts and Goblins so bad. I used to read about it in Nintendo Power and the Nintendo Player's Guide. Just dream of the day I had that game. Well, eventually I did get it, and ever since then I've played the hell out of it. It took me until I think it was 3 years ago that I finally was able to beat Ghosts and Goblins. I had to leave my Nintendo on for 7 or 8 days straight to just, stay up real late playing it, go to bed, come home from work the next day, start playing it again. It's a great memory. I'll always have a Ghosts and Goblins, aside from many playing it back in the day. But to be honest, back in the day, we never got very far because it was just so damn hard. The last game on the list, coming in at under $18, 17 something, is a game my buddy Brian across the street from me back in the day had it. We used to play the hell out of it. It's an action RPG. So is Zelda, but aside from Zelda, it was the only game like this that I had played up until that point. And this game is fantastic in many ways, but not all. This game, I believe, is superior to The Legend of Zelda, but in many ways, it's not. Zelda's better. But coming in at under $20, under $18, it's a hell of a bargain. I'm talking about somewhat of a hidden gem, Crystalis. This was one of the first games I ever played that really made me understand grinding. Granted, when this came out, I was pretty young, so didn't put a lot of thought into games. I don't think many people put a lot of thought into games. You just sat down and played the game. Well, this one required some thought. Because this game is fantastic. It's got a large world. There's a lot of items, a lot of weapons, a lot of things you have to do. And unfortunately, there are many parts in this game that are just so cryptic. It almost ruins the game. But to be honest, you're just liking it so much, you keep playing, you end up figuring it out. If you stick to your guns and persevere, you'll get your way to the end. And the end is, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's kind of disappointing. The end was very easy, but getting to it is not. None of these games are hidden gems. Like I said, Monster Party is probably the least known. Crystalis could be there as well, probably is for a lot of people. Not for me, because I've been playing it since way back in the day. So there is 5 fantastic games on the NES that are under $20. Great news for everybody. Now, a year or so ago, I did the $100 NES challenge, where you create a library of games that if you only had $100, that's all you had to spend. Now these 5 games would come in at under $100. This is not a $100 NES challenge. In that video, which I'll put a link in, I think I had 7. I It's 7 games. And The Legend of Zelda came in as the top dog on that one, being the most expensive. But there's a lot of games that are fun, but cheaper. These are just games I was surprised that were only $20. Surprised, still am. Been talking to the camera, making the video for a while, it still surprises me. So if you don't have any of these titles, I suggest pick them up, 20 bucks. I take the wife and kid to McDonald's, it's over $30. So skip a meal at McDonald's, get yourself one of these. 30 plus years of fun. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I hope you like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And until next time, YouTube, keep it retro! Thumbnail!